In this video, we're going to take a look at how to use the AND function in Microsoft Excel. The AND function allows you to test multiple conditions. So I might, have two conditions like, is it a weekday and do I have a clean dress shirt? Right? I could test both those conditions. And if they're both true, I'm going to go to work. And if one of them is not true, it's a weekday, all my work clothes aren't clean, so true, false, then no, we're not going to go to work. So the AND function allows us to test two conditions. We're going to see how to use it here in Microsoft Excel to build our random name generator. This is the third step in building this random name generator. You can see these random names being generated here on the screen. So I'm looking forward to showing how to use the AND function. Let's get to it. So here I am in the random name generator, and we are already generating a title, a first name, and a last name for people. And sometimes they get the title and sometimes they do not. And you can see here, a lot of people did not get the title until we got to this one. Lord Charlotte Lopez, I love it. And Lady Lily Thompson, I love it. And then Riley Sanchez did not get a title. But the way the title is being generated is it's looking at this test condition right here. So we have a number right there. And when this number is less than that number, they get a title. But when that number is greater than this number, they do not get a title. So for the credential, we want to test two conditions. And the two conditions that we're gonna test is if they have a title, is this number right here, right? We're going to generate a random number there between 0 and 1, and you can see that right there. I use the RAND function to do that, and every time I press F9 or calculate now on my keyboard, I could press F9 to calculate now everything in this workbook. But every time I hit F9, it recalculates everything. And the only time somebody will receive a credential is if they have a title, which means this number is less than that number, and this number is also less than that number. So we're going to test two conditions for people to have a title. So if they are given a title, we're going to start this out if right here to determine whether or not they receive a title. And so if will be the function we use. And if checks whether a condition is met. And so that condition can be like multiple conditions using the AND function. And then it returns one value if the condition is true, meaning that condition's been met, meaning both of these are lower than their test values, and another value if false. So we're going to use if, and I'm going to press the tab key to accept that. And now it's asking for a logical test. So this is the syntax for the if function right here. If takes a logical test and then it returns the value of true and it returns a different value of false. What do we want for our logical test? We want to compare two things. So we're going to nest the AND function right here within the if function. The AND function will evaluate the conditions first. And here the AND function says, what's your first logical test? And then do you want to add additional logical tests? My first logical test will be is this value right there less than this value right here? And I'm going to press F4 to hold that constant. And then my second logical test, and you can see when I hit that comma, right? As soon as I hit that comma, the bold goes from the first logical test to the second logical test. So I'm just following the syntax of this in this tooltip right here. I'm following the syntax of this AND function. And right there, I'm working on the first logical test. I enter that comma, which you can see is right after that bold logical one. I enter that comma and I go to the second logical test. And that's in brackets, which in computer speak means this is optional. You can enter another logical test if you want, or you can just end right there if you just want to end there. I do want to enter another logical test though. So I'm going to hit the comma and then come over here and say, is this value here less than that value there? And I'm going to hold that top value absolute, because as I copy and paste these formulas down over lower rows, I want each row to relatively reference the random values associated with that row, and then to absolutely always compare them against the values up here, which are these test values up there. So that's going to be my logical test. Is this one true and that one true? I'm going to hit my ending paren to end my logical test. I'm back in the syntax for the if function here in the tooltip, and I'm going to hit a comma. And what value do I want returned if the two logical tests are true? This one is true and that one is true. The value I want returned is a credential. So I need to look up that credential from this table over here. So I'm going to use XLOOKUP. I'm going to use XLOOKUP to look up a value from over here. There are 30 potential values. So I want the value that I look up to be a random value between 1 and 30. So randomly, I want one number between 1 and 30. So I could choose one of these values. And to generate a random number between 1 and 30, I'm going to use the RANDBETWEEN function. And so RANDBETWEEN will generate a random number between 1 and 30. And so that's going to be the value that I look up. right? And so XLOOKUP is going to look up the value, some value between 1 and 30. RANDBETWEEN will generate that random number between 1 and 30, and then XLOOKUP will use that number to look that value up. Where is it going to look it up? It's going to look it up in this list of numbers right here. That's going to be the lookup list, the lookup column, the lookup array, whatever you want to call it. You could use all those phrases interchangeably. And so it's going to look up the value in that range, that array right there. And then where do I want the value to be returned from? I want it to be returned from this column, this list, this array right there. And I'm going to press F4 to hold that constant. And then since these arguments right here are in brackets in the syntax for the XLOOKUP function, I do not need to enter them, they're optional. So I'm gonna hit my ending paren right there. And then what value do I want to return if the condition tested here with the AND function is false? I'm just gonna return nothing, right? Double quotes. I'm gonna hit my ending paren and press enter. And now, since this value is greater than that value, this person doesn't get a credential, but as I press F9, right, I could wait for both of these values to be less than 0.5. And in this case, right, both values are less than 0.5, they got a credential. So it's good to see that this worked. In the next video that I make for this YouTube channel, we're going to continue building our random name generator, and we're going to do that by using the ifs function in Microsoft Excel and also the TEXTJOIN function. So those are super interesting functions to know about. I really recommend learning them. And if you want to check out that video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and then toggle that little bell so that you'll be notified when this video comes out. In addition, if there's anything else you want to learn about Microsoft Excel or all of technology, leave a note down in the comments telling me what you want to learn. I read those notes and then I make videos inspired by what people have requested. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button. That helps support me in making these videos. And I enjoy making them. So hit like, and I look forward to seeing you next time.